Hello, this is AstroKrys from CodaQueenAstrology, and today's video is on the Aquarius Full Moon happening on July 23rd, 2021. I'm also going to be touching base on the human design gates that are being activated by the full moon. So don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you won't miss any videos in the future. I'd also like to invite you to my astrology group on Facebook. The details are going to be in the description below. I host monthly talks and also bring other spiritual healers to talk everything astrology and the spiritual development. And I go on IG Live on Wednesdays where I host Ask the Astrologer segment and I cover the specific zodiac signs during that time. So don't forget to catch me live on Wednesdays where you can specifically ask me questions about how the full moon will be affecting your zodiac sign. So the details are there below as well. And if you're on Clubhouse, don't forget to say hi. I host weekly rooms in the Astrology Club and also in the Astrology and Esoterica Club. So let's get started. Well, the Aquarius zodiac sign is being highlighted twice this time around. We are going to have a full moon in Aquarius right when the sun enters the sign of Leo on July the 23rd. And we're also going to have a second full moon in the sign of Aquarius right when the sun is about to enter the zodiac sign of Virgo, and that's going to be August 22nd. So there are different degrees. This full moon is happening at the first degree of Aquarius, and August 22nd, it will be the later degrees. I believe it's the 29th degree or maybe 28th. So very interesting. So the Aquarius energy is being highlighted twice. Now, in this full moon, when we talk about the full moons in general, not even incorporating the meaning of the zodiac signs, full moons are all about gratitude and being thankful and something coming into fruition. So it's about reaping rewards, but also getting ready to let go of things. This moon is actually being wedged right between Pluto and Saturn. Now, Pluto is in the sign of Capricorn, and the moon is in Aquarius. However, the moon did shortly conjunct Pluto hours prior to the full moon. So it's recuperating from the transformation and the intensity she faced while being transiting Pluto. And she's heading towards Saturn. So she's being wedged between two malefics. So not necessarily activating the midpoint, but very tense energy there. Now, Saturn is the ruler of Aquarius, so the moon gets a little help, but it's not going to be enough. So the moon is being suppressed by these two energies. And then we have the opposition where it's opposing the sun in the sign of Leo. Now, the sun in the sign of Leo rules the sign of Leo, so it's very well dignified. And it's also in the first degrees of the sign, which are the degrees that correlate to the most potent Leo energy. And we do see that Leo is also controlling Mars, because Mars is in the sign of Leo. And the moon is actually controlling Mercury, because Mercury is in the sign of Cancer. And then Mercury's controlling Venus, and Venus is in the sign of Virgo. So the moon is quite active. Now, Jupiter is still in the sign of Pisces at 0 degree, about to enter Aquarius. So Jupiter is quite dignified too. So we have, let me see, 1, 2, 3 planets that are in rulership in their zodiac signs that they rule. And then the rest of the other planets are under control of Saturn and the sun. So let's talk about the moon, because the moon is the planet in this chart that has the most tension, just because it has a conjunction or an applying conjunction to Saturn, and also a separating conjunction to Pluto. Now, the nature of the sign of Aquarius is to be a revolutionary thinker, to be eccentric, to do things outside of the norm, to do things that are going to benefit humanity. And then it's so close to Pluto, which is transformation. So, right when the moon conjuncted to Pluto hours before the full moon, she was transformed. So, a little bit of traumatic events might have been brought up, or trauma from the body might have been triggered, or situations that were a little volatile, or more deeper conversations, or even obsessions of listening to the occult or studying the occult, because Pluto rules all that. But typically, when the moon conjuncts Pluto, we really feel it somewhere in our lives because the moon rules our emotions. Now, when the moon goes into the sign of Aquarius, she starts anew, but not without forgetting the programming that she received from Pluto. But now she is establishing how to concrete these new directives, because the moon now is heading towards Saturn in Aquarius, where Saturn is going to materialize and set ground rules and establish and also set goals and made us to execute what it is that we need to do. So it is at 1 degree. The moon is quite new. It's a baby energy. And then we also have the sun in 1 degree, which is baby energy, which is pure energy. They're both aspecting Vesta. Now, the sun is actually sextiling Vesta, and the moon is trining Vesta. And Vesta holds the rulership over our sacred heart. She is ruler of the fire within us, ruler of the fire within the home, the spirit within us, the drive, the ambition within us. And she's known to, in her mythology, she was known to have control over the sacred fire in our home. So they would pray to Vesta for the fire not to go out because they depended on this fire. And they also depended on this fire not getting out of control so it wouldn't burn their house down. So we have these 2 points aspecting Vesta, and Vesta's quite magical. Vesta is the spiritual keeper of the sacred flame within us, the feminine creative energy that allows us to dedicate ourselves to things that are bigger than us, plans and goals that are bigger than us. It brings a nun-like type of devotion to any cause, project, or belief that you hold sacred and dear. It relates to work and devotion, spiritual practices, solitude, sacrifice, and loneliness. So, this is good for manifesting, it's good for setting intentions, but we have to also give something up, not necessarily sacrifice, but give something up so we can make room for new things. Now, this is a full moon, but we can also manifest with the full moon, especially if you do it prior to the full moon. So the full moon is going to be later on during the day on the 23rd. So you can do it as of the 22nd, early morning on the 23rd, and set your intentions of gratitude, and then call in whatever it is that you want into your life, using the energy of Vesta. Now, we also have the sun in conjunct Jupiter, but at the same time, Jupiter and the moon are semi-sextiling. So the in conjunct aspect from the sun to Jupiter, or Jupiter to the sun, is one of exaggeration, because an in conjunct is an energy that is a little bit harder to express. This is because of the aspect. They don't really see each other. They're in dark houses. So technically, if we put the sun in on the ascendant, how the zodiac sign of Pisces is the 8th house, vice versa. If we put Jupiter on the ascendant, so say Pisces is the ascendant, then the 6th house from Pisces is the Leo house where the sun is at. So it's the 6th house and the 8th house, which are forming that in conjunct or quincunx aspect, which is quite tough. Now, it does have a point of mastery, but not with effort. We do have to put some effort in expressing the better qualities of the planets involved. Now, it is Jupiter and the sun, and Jupiter is benefic, so it is retrograde. However, we might overreach, overindulge, overdo things, over exaggerate things, and we're not able to see too clearly because we're in the expansion mode. So, as a semi-sextile to the moon, it's quite a positive energy. This is a time of gathering, communicating, building friendships. The moon rules the home, and in the sign of Aquarius, it's the sign of friendship and networking. So it's quite nice, maybe throwing a party or a gathering with your family, but remember keeping it within limits and practicing safe practices due to the times. Now, another aspect that I wanted to touch base on was Mercury and Neptune trine. Now, Mercury was just squaring Neptune when Mercury was transiting the sign of Gemini. He actually squared Neptune 3 times, and now we're forming a trine because Mercury's in Cancer. Now, these two in a supportive trine assist us with our creativity, with our spirituality, with our artistic abilities. We're able to communicate in a much more gentler fashion, and also communicate more like telepathically. I am going to be teaching a class on psychic and spiritual development. This is an astrological approach where I talk about indicators in the natal chart that support psychic abilities, in addition to going through a program to awaken and foster the growth of these abilities. It is going to be 4 months long. We meet every other week, and there's daily assignments. There's a hub where everything's located. If you're interested, all the details will be in the description below. But this aspect of Neptune and Mercury trining is very supportive to make connections to the spiritual realm, to develop our abilities further, because Neptune rules the spiritual realm, and Mercury rules the mind, and it's also our communication. So we're able to develop mediumship. But on another token, it's also very supportive for communication, being much more gentler, maybe more in tune with our family members and the people around us. Neptune does confuse things, so we might not see the whole picture because we're looking at everything with compassionate eyes. But there's other supporting indicators in the chart, like Saturn, that can assist in anchoring this energy based on the aspect that Saturn is making to the moon and things like that. So I would focus on those houses to get additional support. Saturn also forming a trine with the North Node anchors everything, so brings a little bit more stability. Now, the full moon in Aquarius is happening conjunct Altair fixed star. And this star is a star of the occult. It's actually located in the constellation Aguila. And this star has connections to other realms and spiritual information. And it's basically the star of enlightenment, the star of opening the third eye, the star of expanding knowledge. And people that have this fixed star conjunct any of their planets, or if the stars conjunct the ascendant or the midheaven or even the descendant or IC, this star is very prominent in their chart. I actually have this star conjunct my DC because I'm a Leo rising. And I've always been attracted to esoteric and psychic development and astrology. That was my main fascination, astrology. So there's other pointers in the chart that will tell you more about this, but this is one of them. So this star is going to be activated during this full moon, which is exactly where we had the Jupiter Saturn conjunction. So it's reactivating that point. The Jupiter Saturn conjunction happened at 0 degrees, but this full moon is happening at 1 degree Aquarius. So they're still again highlighting this specific degree where LTR happens to be set. Now, this during means winter to me, solstice, when I see this type of repetitive aspects triggering events or triggering a cosmic alignment that is significant, like the Jupiter Saturn conjunction is quite significant because that's a cycle that forms every 20 years. So when I see a full moon triggering that, it just serves this purpose to us to remind us again. And what does the energy of Aquarius talk about? The energy of Aquarius is about expanding the mind. It's about thinking outside the box. It's about not having limits in possibilities. It's quite scientific, quite detached, very logical. So we have to think this way. We have to conceptualize things. And to me, what I see with everything combining, it just talks about another level of alignment in people's spiritual journey. Most people that listen to videos like this, they're on the journey. You wouldn't spend as much time to even get to this point of the video if you're not interested in these types of things. You would be watching something else. So most of the people that do watch my videos or videos as such, they're already on that path. And this is a reminder for you to transform this, for you to expand your mind. We have Venus at 2nd degree in Virgo, and that's already 2 degrees off from where Archangel Raphael is situated. He's at 0 degree Virgo. He just entered Virgo a few years back. People that were born prior to the 90s, Regulus was located at 29 degree Leo, but it's at 0 degree Virgo now. So we have the fixed star of Regulus also joining. It is a separating conjunction because Venus is at 2nd degree Virgo, but it's there. So again, calling in our angels, the angels participating in assisting us to awake and battle the control, battle things that are not great for humanity, and to welcome this age of Aquarius. So that's everything I wanted to mention from the astrological perspective. Now I'm going to go into the human design perspective. And don't forget, I go live on Wednesdays. And on Wednesdays, I talk about each zodiac sign. So I release these videos prior to give you more information about the energy of the full moon in general. But then when I go on IG Live, or I also cast it on my private Facebook group, it's free to join. You can ask me questions. You can say, hey, I'm a Pisces rising, I'm a Gemini rising, and then I give everyone information in regard to where this influence is going to play out in their life based on the house placement of the moon. So hope to see you there. And now for the human design part of the forecast. So let's talk about gate 56, where the sun is sitting. This is the gate of expansion, and it covers degrees in Cancer 26-22 through 2 degree Leo. And the challenge here is to learn to share stories and inspirations with the right people at the right time. To learn to tell stories of expansion and not depletion and contraction. To have infinite adventures. This is the gate of the true storyteller. You have the ability to transform visualization into language. So this is where the sun in Leo is sitting, and the opposing or the partner gate is actually gate 60, and that's where the moon is sitting. And when we talk about full moons, we're looking at where both of these planets are sitting in the human design chart, in the astrology chart, because they're forming an opposition aspect. These are some of the questions you want to ask yourself. Where am I unable to say no? Where do I overindulge? Where do I deprive myself? How do I know when I'm shifted out of balance? When do I feel the most alive? When do I feel the most depleted? When do I feel wild and full of desire? When do I feel responsible? Why am I feeling responsible? So these are things you can ask yourself to contemplate on this gate. And the affirmation for this gate is, I am a divine, inspirational storyteller. The stories of possibility that I share have the power to inspire others to grow and expand. I use my words as a template for possibility and expansion for the world. I inspire the world with my words. Wow, isn't that powerful? And this is a Leo gate, so it is the drama energy, the entertainment energy that drives this gate to express and to inspire. Gate 56 does sit in the throat center, which is the center that rules manifestation. All centers lead to the throat. And this is the center that allows us to speak our truth, to manifest our truth. So, yeah, that's being activated by the sun. Slowly, we're gonna leave all the gates in the throat and start moving on to other gates. Now, the moon is actually located this time around in the root center. So grounding these manifestations. Very nice. Now, the moon is in gate 60. This is the gate of conservation. And we have to remember full moons invite us to explore and listen to what it is we need to let go of, release, in order to stay in alignment with our intentions. Gate 60 is very important as it supports innovation. And that's the same thing as what Aquarius stands for. It's to be innovative. It's to be different. It's to make alchemy. This is where we bring magic to the world. This is the magician. Now, this full moon talks about being able to listen and respond to the messages that we get about being innovative and moving forward and evolving the idea. This gate encourages us to explore what is working in our lives and what isn't. Starting new doesn't mean that we have to burn everything down to start over. This can be thinking outside the box, innovating to build upon what we already have so we don't start from scratch. Gate 60 encourages us to be grateful for the things that we have and encourages us to build on what we already know that works. And with both of these gates highlighted by the sun and the moon, I'd like to invite you to hold space in your heart center for gratitude. When manifesting with the moon, we always hold gratitude. And then after we clear, and then we set intentions, respecting the energetic flow. So, what are you grateful for this week? What is it that you think you need to release in order to invite things that are going to be helpful for your innovative evolution? Remember, the challenge here is being in fear and feeling overwhelming loss of resourcefulness and not being able to think outside the box. But there is mastery here. The ability is in the blessing to transform, in the blessing to be optimistic, and to focus on what's working instead of what is not working. So avoiding pessimistic thoughts, encouraging optimistic thoughts. When we are unbalanced, this gate talks about not being able to grow, and we are holding on to the old and we are rejecting the new, which and then overwhelms us and also destroys the ability for us to evolve and respond. The affirmation for this gate is I am grateful for all the transformation and change in my life. I am able to find the blessings of the past and incorporate them in my innovative vision for the future. I am optimistic and I transform the world by growing on what works. So that was the full report on the astrological transits and also the two gates that are being activated with the sun and the moon. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and comment below. Let me know if you like this style of talking about the astrology portion and then bringing in the human design gates where the sun or the moon are activating. I'm doing these videos for new moons and full moons. So in full moons, we are going to have two gates activated, and in new moons, we're going to have one gate activated. Last week, I did talk about the Venus and Mars conjunction. So whenever there's important cycles starting, I'm also going to be talking about that gate. If you need your human design chart, go to mybodygraph.com or geneticmatrix.com and you can get your free human design chart. Thank you so much. Have a great day and happy full moon in Aquarius.